Your kidneys are doing some of their most important work while you sleep. Most people have never been told that. From the time you finish your last meal at night until your first bite in the morning, your kidneys are not resting. They are filtering your blood, clearing waste products, balancing the minerals that control your blood pressure, and protecting the delicate vessels that line their own tissue. What you eat in that final hour before bed either supports that process or makes it significantly harder to complete. After 60, this matters more than most people realize. Nearly 1 in 3 adults has early signs of kidney stress right now, and most of them feel completely normal. The kidneys do not hurt when they are struggling. There are no pain signals to warn you. By the time a problem appears on a routine blood test, it has often been building quietly for years. I've spent more than 15 years watching that quiet process turn into a serious one. Tonight, I am going to give you the vegetables to eat in the evening that actively support your kidneys while you sleep. Some of them you will recognize, a few will surprise you, and one is a vegetable most people over 60 have been eating the wrong way their entire lives, canceling out most of the benefit without knowing it. At the very end, I will give you a simple evening recipe that combines the best of them into one easy preparation you can make in under 10 minutes. But first, I want to say something to the person watching this who is worried they have waited too long. You have not. The kidneys have a remarkable capacity to stabilize and even partially recover when you stop overloading them and start giving them what they need. That is why the evening matters so much. Every night is a new window. Let me show you how to use it. What your kidneys are actually doing while you sleep. Here is what almost no one explains in a 12-minute office visit. Your kidneys filter your entire blood supply roughly every 30 minutes. Over the course of a single night, hundreds of liters of blood pass through them. They are pulling out waste products, balancing sodium and potassium, regulating the acid level of your blood, and deciding what to keep and what to send to the bladder. The problem comes from what you hand them in that last hour before this process gets into full swing. When your final food of the evening is something high in sodium, high in refined sugar, or high in compounds that the kidneys struggle to filter efficiently, you are loading the night shift with extra work at exactly the moment it needs to run clean. Over years, that nightly overload takes a toll. The tiny filtering units inside the kidney, called nephrons, begin to lose efficiency, and unlike liver cells, nephrons do not regenerate once they are gone. The window where you can protect what you have is earlier than most people think, and most people are still sitting in it. Every vegetable I am about to share with you does one of 3 jobs during that overnight window. It delivers antioxidants that protect the delicate blood vessels inside the kidney from oxidative damage, the slow internal rust that drives most kidney decline. It carries compounds that help regulate blood pressure in the renal vessels, which is the single biggest driver of kidney damage in adults over 60. Or it provides fiber and plant nutrients that reduce the waste load the kidneys have to filter in the first place, giving them a cleaner, lighter shift. And every one of them is low enough in potassium and phosphorus that it is appropriate for most people, though I will flag the one exception as we go. Vegetable 1, red bell pepper. The first vegetable earns its place at the top of this list for a reason that has nothing to do with taste. Red bell peppers are one of the very few vegetables that are rich in antioxidants and simultaneously low in the 2 minerals, potassium and phosphorus, that kidneys under stress struggle to excrete efficiently. Most vegetables that are good for you carry a significant potassium load. For healthy kidneys, that is not a problem. But for kidneys that are already working hard, a high potassium evening meal can throw off the mineral balance the kidneys spend the night trying to maintain. Red bell peppers solve that problem. They are packed with vitamin C, vitamin A, and a family of antioxidants called carotenoids, the red pigments that protect the lining of your kidney's blood vessels from the oxidative damage that is one of the earliest signs of kidney decline. And they do all of that while carrying significantly less potassium than most vegetables do. The lycopene in a red bell pepper is the same compound that gives tomatoes their color, has been studied specifically for its ability to reduce inflammation in renal tissue and protect the small blood vessels that the kidneys depend on for filtration. To use it in the evening, slice half a red bell pepper and eat it raw with a small portion of hummus, or roast it lightly in olive oil and eat it as a side alongside a light evening protein. Raw is ideal because heat reduces the vitamin C content significantly. The crunch also slows you down, which is never a bad thing in the evening when mindless eating is the real enemy. Vegetable 2. Cauliflower. Cauliflower is one of the most underestimated vegetables for kidney health specifically, and it works through a mechanism most people never hear about. Your kidneys have to filter the waste products of protein breakdown every single night. One of those waste products is called indoxyl sulfate, a compound that at elevated levels is directly toxic to the cells lining the kidney tubules. It is one of the reasons that people with declining kidney function are often advised to watch their protein intake. Cauliflower contains a family of plant compounds called indoles. When your gut bacteria process those indoles, they compete with and partially displace the harmful indoxyl sulfate pathway. In plain terms, eating cauliflower in the evening shifts the chemistry of what your kidneys have to filter overnight in your favor. On top of that, cauliflower is rich in vitamin C and folate, and it carries a meaningful fiber load that feeds the gut bacteria responsible for that beneficial conversion. It is also low in potassium and phosphorus compared to most vegetables in its nutritional class. In the evening, steam it lightly and eat it with a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon. Do not overcook it. The indoles and vitamin C are heat sensitive. You want it tender but not soft. A cup of lightly steamed cauliflower an hour or two before bed gives your kidneys a cleaner starting point for the night ahead. Vegetable 3. Cabbage. Cabbage is the vegetable most people walk past without a second thought, and for the kidneys, that is a costly habit. Raw or lightly cooked cabbage is extraordinarily rich in phytochemicals, plant compounds that are still being actively studied for their role in protecting kidney tissue from the chronic low-grade inflammation that drives most age-related decline in filtration efficiency. It is also notably high in vitamin K and vitamin C, and it delivers meaningful fiber while carrying one of the lowest potassium loads of any vegetable available in a standard grocery store. The fiber in cabbage feeds the same beneficial gut bacteria that help manage the waste products your kidneys have to deal with overnight. A healthy gut microbiome and a healthy kidney are more connected than most people realize. They share a chemical conversation that happens constantly through the bloodstream, and what you do for one affects the other. In the evening, a small bowl of coleslaw made with plain Greek yogurt instead of mayonnaise, a wedge of raw cabbage alongside your evening meal, or a quick, lightly sautéed version with garlic and olive oil are all ideal. Keep the portions moderate. This is a support food, not a main course. Vegetable 4. Garlic. Most people do not think of garlic as a vegetable in the way we have been discussing the others, but for the kidneys, it is one of the most powerful additions you can make to an evening meal, and it works through an entirely different pathway than the first three. The active compound in garlic is allicin, which forms when a garlic clove is crushed or chopped and left to rest for a few minutes before cooking. Allicin is one of the most well-studied natural compounds for its effect on blood pressure and vascular inflammation, and blood pressure control is the single most important factor in protecting kidney function over time. Elevated blood pressure inside the renal blood vessels is the primary mechanism by which kidney function declines in adults over 60. Garlic also carries compounds that reduce the production of pro-inflammatory signals in kidney tissue, and there is emerging evidence that it helps protect the kidneys from the specific type of oxidative damage caused by high blood sugar, one of the most common contributors to kidney decline in this age group. To use it correctly in the evening, crush or finely chop 2 cloves and let them sit for 5 minutes before adding them to olive oil over low heat. That resting period is when allicin forms. High heat destroys it, so add garlic toward the end of cooking, not the beginning. A little garlic and olive oil over steamed cauliflower or roasted bell pepper ties several of tonight's vegetables together into a single preparation. Vegetable 5. Onion. Onion belongs in the same family as garlic and works through a related but distinct mechanism. The active compound here is quercetin, a flavonoid that has been studied extensively for its effects on kidney inflammation and its ability to protect the delicate filtration membrane inside the nephron from oxidative damage. Quercetin is one of the compounds that gives the inner, papery skin of a red onion its deep color. Red onions carry more of it than white or yellow, so if you have a choice, reach for the red ones. In clinical research, quercetin has shown the ability to reduce markers of kidney stress and inflammation in adults with early kidney decline. It also has a meaningful blood pressure lowering effect through its action on the blood vessels feeding the kidney, similar in direction to garlic, but through a separate mechanism, which means the two work well together. Raw red onion carries the most quercetin. Cooking reduces it, though lightly sautéed onion still retains a meaningful amount. In the evening, a few slices of raw red onion on a small salad or onions sautéed gently in olive oil alongside garlic gives you a compound that is quietly protecting your kidney's filtration membrane through the night. Vegetable 6. Arugula. This one surprises most people because arugula has a reputation as a salad leaf rather than a medicinal vegetable. But for the kidneys specifically, it earns a place on this list for a reason that goes beyond general nutrition. Arugula is one of the richest dietary sources of natural nitrates. Your gut bacteria convert those nitrates to nitrites and then to nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and dilates blood vessels. In the kidneys, this dilation reduces the filtration pressure inside the nephrons, which is exactly the mechanism that protects them from the long-term damage that high blood pressure causes. This is the same process that makes beet juice popular among athletes for blood flow, but arugula delivers it in a gentler, more sustained way that is more appropriate for evening use without the high sugar load of beet juice. Arugula is also a meaningful source of vitamin K, which is involved in the regulation of calcium in the kidney. Relevant because calcium deposits in kidney tissue are one of the drivers of stone formation and early structural damage in adults over 60. A small handful of raw arugula in the evening on a simple salad with olive oil and lemon, or as a bed under your roasted vegetables, provides the nitrate pathway your kidneys' blood vessels benefit from overnight. Do not cook it. The nitrates and vitamin K are best preserved raw. Vegetable 7. Asparagus. Asparagus is the one vegetable on this list that most people have a complicated relationship with for reasons that have nothing to do with taste. But for the kidneys, it belongs in the conversation, with one important note I will give you in a moment. Asparagus is a natural mild diuretic, meaning it gently encourages the kidneys to increase urine output and clearance of waste products. It does this through a compound called asparagine, the same amino acid that gives asparagus its distinctive effect on urine odor. That diuretic action in the evening can help the kidneys clear out accumulated waste before the overnight repair cycle begins, giving them a cleaner baseline to work from. Asparagus also carries a meaningful antioxidant load, including glutathione, the same master antioxidant we talked about in its liver context, and it provides folate and chromium, both of which support the blood sugar regulation that protects kidney vessels over time. The important note: asparagus carries a moderate purine load, meaning that for anyone with a history of gout or uric acid kidney stones, it should be eaten in modest amounts and discussed with your doctor. For most people, it is completely appropriate. But if you have been told to watch purines, keep the portion to 4 or 5 spears and observe how you feel. In the evening, 4 to 6 lightly steamed or roasted asparagus spears with a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon is a perfect kidney-supporting side dish. Do not boil them in a large volume of water. That leaches out much of the folate and the water-soluble antioxidants. Steam or roast them instead. The Evening Kidney Support Bowl. Here is a simple preparation I promised you. I call it the Evening Kidney Support Bowl, and it takes under 10 minutes. Lightly steam or roast half a cup of cauliflower florets and 4 asparagus spears. While they are warm, toss them with a handful of raw arugula. The warmth of the vegetables will gently wilt the arugula without destroying its nitrate content. Add 2 crushed garlic cloves that have rested 5 minutes in a teaspoon of olive oil and a few thin slices of raw red onion. Finish with the juice of half a lemon and a very small pinch of sea salt. On top of that, add a few strips of roasted red bell pepper and a side of steamed cabbage if you want the full list in one bowl. That is it. Low in potassium relative to what most people eat in the evening, rich in the antioxidants and blood vessel protecting compounds your kidneys use through the night, and substantial enough that you do not find yourself raiding the kitchen an hour later. Eat it about an hour and a half to 2 hours before bed. That timing lets your digestion do its initial work before you sleep, so your kidneys are dealing with the beneficial compounds from this meal rather than the peak of a digestive rush. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Bernard. Bernard was 68, a retired school principal, and he came in not because anything felt dramatically wrong, but because he was genuinely tired of feeling like he was operating at 70%. His blood pressure had been creeping up for 2 years, despite medication, and his most recent kidney function numbers had started to drift in the wrong direction. Not alarming, just moving the wrong way. When I asked him about his evenings, the picture became clear quickly. He was a habitual late snacker. Crackers with cheese, a handful of pretzels, occasionally a small bowl of ice cream before bed. Nothing that felt indulgent, just the quiet, ordinary evening habits of someone who had never been told that his kidneys were counting on those hours. We made one focused change. We replaced the evening snack with a version of the bowl I just described. Not every night at first, 3 or 4 nights a week. We added a 10-minute walk after dinner, and we got garlic and onion into his cooking consistently. 3 months later, his kidney function numbers had stabilized. His blood pressure had come down enough that his doctor reduced one of his medications, and the fatigue had eased in a way he described as feeling like himself again. His kidneys had been handed their night shift back, and they had used it. Here is exactly what to do tonight. First, close your kitchen earlier. Make your last food of the evening one of these vegetables instead of a starch or a processed snack. Your kidneys start their best work when your digestive system has settled, not while it is still processing a bowl of cereal. Second, pick one vegetable from tonight's list that is already in your house and prepare a small portion of it an hour or 2 before bed. Start with the red bell pepper or the cauliflower if you are not sure where to begin. Both are easy and both make an immediate difference. Third, if you want the full overnight effect, make the kidney support bowl. Cauliflower, asparagus, arugula, garlic, red onion, red bell pepper, lemon, olive oil. Under 10 minutes, eat it in place of whatever you normally reach for in the evening. Fourth, add a 10-minute walk after dinner. Your muscles pull sugar out of your blood during that walk, which reduces the waste load your kidneys have to manage overnight. That one habit alone changes what your kidneys are dealing with for the first 2 hours of their night shift. Fifth, if you take any prescription medication, write down one question for your pharmacist this week. Ask whether any of the vegetables on this list interact with your specific medications. Most will not, but it is the kind of question that takes 2 minutes and protects you completely. Your kidneys have been filtering your blood every 30 minutes for 6 decades. They have never asked for much. What they need in the evening is simple: less to fight, more to work with, and a chance to run a clean shift. These 7 vegetables give them exactly that.